Buddy. Brady North, Ray's sister. Yeah, look, I see they let you inside there, baby. What's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I mean, what are the vibes like right now with the team? 19-6 in the last 25. I mean, just you guys are firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, it's fun to go to the ballpark every day. The guys are definitely confident. They're showing up and working every day and feeling really good.
What was the big adjustment? Because you and I spoke before the season. You were talking about routines. That was a different routine. What was there any adjustment that was made from the beginning of the season to, let's say, like a month in? Because the home field advantage that wasn't there in the beginning, it sure as heck is there right now, brother.
Yeah, I mean it was a learning curve. We definitely have adjusted just time on the field for
Mhm.
pregame work. We've had to pull back a little bit just because that heat is, as you know, it's no joke. So the guys have made, and credit to them, they made the adjustment, continued their work just a lot more indoor than outdoor.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but I started coaching again last weekend, first time in 8 years. And I remember coaching back in the day for Freedom High, coaching first when you were at first base for Gaither. What are your fond memories from playing high school ball here in the Tampa Bay area?
Just the talent and competing against some of the best players in the area, and I think there you're so innocent, right? You're just having fun out there, and we played all year round, so it was all whether it was fall ball or Legion. I think just the fun we all had.
Who was the best player that you faced in high school?
Probably Jose
Yeah.
Fernandez.
Yeah, people asked me who the best player I saw, and it was clearly him. We played them in Saladino and Brandon, and they came to Freedom one time, and he hit a ball to left field at Freedom that I still don't think hit the ground. It's kind of crazy to think what his career would have been like, right? If he was able to, still be with us. Unfortunately, he's not. When you look at this roster right here with the Tampa Bay Rays, there's guys that have been there and guys that maybe you didn't expect to be there. But I want to talk about a couple of guys, Mangum and Meisner. I mean, watching those guys and really making the most of opportunities, what has lended them to be so successful?
I mean, just two unique skill sets, right? Mangum is just the contact and the athleticism is so unique, where he can put a ball in play and make something happen. He swings a bat so often, and normally you see that, and it kind of tends to go the other way. It works in the defense's favor, and he just finds a way to find some holes. But he's a baseball player, and Cam's the same way. Mize is just so fun to watch. Watching him play center field is a joy.
We got to give a special shout out to your niece Kyla that she's watching right now. So shout out to Kyla
What's up,
watching
Kyla girl?
watching Uncle Brady do his thing. I was pretty vocal. I was upset. You guys send Chandler Simpson down, but he's still crushing it right now. What about how exciting is it to be able to watch him do his thing out there? Because it's unconventional, man. He's the slap guy. He's not going to go up there trying to go yak, but when he is out there, when he's in the lineup, like what is that like from your perspective, watching him and knowing that at any time he could do something just to set the entire game on fire?
Well, it's almost like watching him come up and how the defense is adjusted. I mean, watching some of the outfielders play so shallow, you're looking out there like, what's going on? So that's just so cool to see, like to see an individual guy have that type of skill set that is literally forcing teams to adjust the way they're playing defense is just – it's just fun to be a part of in itself, to see that an entire industry saying we have to change how we normally do things to defend this guy. Yeah. So that's special talent right there.
What have you noticed from Josh Lowe batting in that leadoff spot? I know for many years, Yandy was batting leadoff. What's the kind of the thought process for Cashy to do that? And what have you seen as a guy kind of, is he taking more intelligent at bats? Is he staying in the zone? Like, what does that lend it? Like, how has that affected the way he goes about his approach at the plate?
I don't think it's really affected him. I think he just takes his normal at bats. He's always given a good at bat no matter where he's at in the lineup. And I think just having him there, giving some Yanni down, some guys on down in that 3-hole is maybe some of that thought process. But Jay hasn't changed much there. He just takes a pro at bat no matter what.
Junior Cabanero is a guy, I mean, you're just looking at, he's a guy that just keeps getting better and better and better. I mean, you think about how young this kid is, Brady. It's wild to think what he can be, right, in the next 2, 5, 10 years. What have you noticed from him as far as his game and how it's evolved over just this season?
Just how fast he's learned, where teams have been attacking him with sinkers in and, the conversations of laying off of it. And he's proved to us that he can lay off of it or just get it out of there. I mean, in New York, there was two balls off the plate in sinker that he hit like 110 out for a home run. You're like, well, if he can hit it like that, swing at it. So, yeah, he's a blast to watch. Very special talent.
When you guys go up to Queens and there's a buzz right now up with the Mets and they're playing as well as they are, Soto goes there in the offseason. They have Lindor. Alonso's been doing really well. And you guys go up there and you sweep them. What was the thought process going into that series? And then what was the thought process coming out of that series, knowing you guys are playing some good ball? But when you go on the road and play a team like that, one of the best teams in all of baseball, but especially a dominating team in the NL, what did you kind of learn about your team in that series, if anything?
I think the team really learned that, hey, we are here to compete, and like it's real. This isn't just a hot streak, and these guys can compete night in, night out. And that's kind of was the message before the thing, is just play our game and let's see what happens, and that's what we did.
Do you guys, I know it's so early in the season, but do you look at the standings at all? Because, when you go 19-6 and now you're 25, now you're 2.5 games behind the Yankees, when it seemed a couple of weeks ago like it was out of reach. Do you guys look at the standings at all, or do you just kind of just take care of what you guys take care of?
I personally don't yet. We got a lot of baseball left. I rely normally my dad will tell me somewhere where we're standing, but I try not to this early.
Yeah, Nelly, I'm sure Nelly's all over it, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
What about the road trips with the wife and little ones, man? I mean, you guys, and it's so well documented. You guys put it out there, and it's just so cool to be able to see the boys, enjoy these incredible cities around the country and take in these games.
Yeah, I mean, this last one was a family trip, so everybody's family was there. They got to fly with us this time, so
nice.
Or I should say, I got to fly with them. They kind of took over, but it was awesome to just be sitting on the plane with them, and just kind of doing every little step with them was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I look at some of the experiences with the Rays and just the communication, and you've talked about this before with me, but just especially this year with so many moving parts and playing in a different stadium, is this where like Kevin Cash's kind of strengths really shine through, because you have like things that never happened before, like you're dealing with rain delays, stuff like that? Is this where like Cashy has done probably one of his better jobs in his time with you there, because there's just so many unknowns, and I'm sure there's going to be even more unknowns as the year goes on?
Yeah, I mean, I think the roster's so unique. The pitching staff is so good. I think his creativity just comes through on how he builds the lineup and how he schedules guys to throw. Obviously him and Kyle's relationship is so strong. They do a great job doing that.
What about Pep last night? I mean, he's been a friend of the program as well, and such a really good guy. And I told him, I'm like, yo, you're a bulldog out there, man. You're sweating bullets. You look like Patrick Ewing in the first inning. He's drenched, whether it's inside or outside. But when he has a performance like he does last night, I mean, my goodness, that's got to be inspirational for the whole team.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, everyone was so excited for him. Even him going back out there and Nathan coming back in, everyone was just so excited for him. That was a great performance for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when the pitching is doing that, your defense is doing it and you're hitting it, just like it seems like everything is complementing each other right now. Like, what would you say is kind of the secret sauce to the success over the last month or so? Is it just kind of everybody doing their role, Brady? If you could point to one thing, what would it be?
No, I think it's obviously the focus and concentration, because we have shrunk the work days and the reps are down, but the reps we are taking, the guys are laser focused and, getting the most out of each rep. And I think it's just translating, whether that's, pregame fungos where we're, blasting live fungos at them, they're focused for that 5 minutes we're asking them to be. And you can see the double plays being turned out there. And same thing offensively. Guys know they're not going to get to see the ball flight out there early, but they get in the cage and get what they need. So kudos to those guys for sure.
Looking at a guy like Taylor Walls, he seems to come up in every big situation. It's crazy. Somebody asked me that. Why does that happen? I go, I don't know. What happens in baseball? It happens in softball. The same guy comes up in the ninth inning. It's whatever year it is. It's the same guy. What is it about Taylor that allows him to stay so composed? And I know, talking to him before in the past, he wants to be able to hit a little bit more consistently, but I'm just so impressed that he doesn't take it out into the field and he goes out there and he's a platinum glove kind of guy. Talk about the mindset for a guy like Taylor Walls, where he's a battler, he's a grinder, and he does whatever it takes to help this team win.
Yeah, you want to talk about work ethic. I mean, we got to pull Taylor back sometimes. He's the one asking for more. Even the hitting, he works his tail off in the cage. And I think you've kind of seen it this year with this, where he's taking the lumps and he's gone back out there. He's definitely using more parts of his game than ever, bunting, hitting the ball on the ground a little more. But his defense, I mean, I get caught staring at him out there like, this is unbelievable. But yeah, no, he can really play some baseball.
What's the work been like with a guy like Danny Jansen? Because this is, I mean, I had this conversation with Z a couple years ago, Mike Zanino, and he goes, Jay, you don't know how hard it is to come to a team like this where so many you're utilizing so many pitchers over the year, whether it's the guys in the 25, 26, the 40-man roster guys getting called up. He goes, it's a lot having to make sure and then I got to do my work offensively. What is it like for Danny? How is he adjusted to catching so many different unique pitchers and then also being able to contribute offensively?
I mean, I can't really speak on the catching side. That's kind of far away from my expertise. But from the professional standpoint, Danny's he's the man. You want to talk about like the vibe guy, making sure everybody's relaxed, loose. He'll come into the cage even days he's not playing, crank the music up to a song, and we think he's about to hit, gets the mood going, and then walks out. We're like, all right. And then we find out that he was in the weight room changing music, clubhouse changing music. He is awesome, man. He brings the energy every day. Good veteran leadership, communicates well, talks about what he's seeing out there with the opposing pitcher. He's been really good for the group.
You mentioned pregame kind of preparation as far as on the field. Is there anything in game that you've noticed that has changed, whether it's the weather, it's the wind, or anything like, without giving away any trade secrets? But is there anything like during the games that you've noticed that the teams maybe adjusted to, or maybe just something that's caught your eye as, maybe when the sun goes down, it's different? Like, is that changed at all?
Nothing that I've noticed. I mean, I do think that this group has communicated amongst each other more than groups past, just in terms of what they're seeing, what this pitch looks like, or how they feel this guy's attacking, more than years past for sure. But nothing particular that stands out, no.
What about a guy like Belau? I mean, this is a dude, and at times he can carry a team for 2 weeks, and then the big thing with him is just staying healthy, because when he stays in the lineup, I mean, he's one of the most productive players at second base in all of baseball. What have you noticed from him this year? Because it just seems like, man, when he'll go big fly twice a game, he just hits the ball hard. When he squares that thing up, it goes a long way.
I mean, he just proves how good he is, right? Like you just said, when he's healthy, I think he was the fastest second baseman to 100 homers. I could be mistaken on that, but I feel like last year that came across. But yeah, that guy can swing. But he's won this year too. Like he's helped the younger group. We have that roster turnover, young guys throughout the clubhouse, and Belau has really stepped up and communicated with them. So he's been great.
When you face a guy like Eflin last night, knowing that there's a previous, experience and history there, how do you guys attack going against a guy that Like, are you worried that he's going to exploit some of your weaknesses offensively? Like, how does that conversation go with your guys, knowing that, all right, you kind of know what his repertoire is when he was with the Rays? You see how maybe he utilizes his pitch sequencing with Baltimore now. How do you kind of put that entire game plan together to try to be as successful as you guys were last night?
Well, we relied heavily on the guys that did play with them, right? The guys that stood behind him on defense, and they're the ones that really spoke about, hey, this guy's a pitcher. He's going to go strike to ball. He's going to try to get you to get yourself out, And we relied heavily on the guys like Belau, the guys that stood behind him, and they spoke a lot more than we did.
That's amazing. Yeah, I wonder about that too. And you think about guys that you can utilize defensively, being on the field of what a pitcher does, and then utilize it on the offensive side, right? So there's almost like kind of like a cross pollination of everything, of like where I do a lot of teams do that in baseball, Brady. I know been involved with the Rays organization for a while now, but as far as communication in pro ball, I think overall, what's that communication like? Kind of pitching, defense, pitching, hitting, and stuff like that. Are the better teams the ones that utilize that the best?
I mean, I think the balance of information and just the game feel is what makes teams, really competitive. I think now with the pitch comms, infielders and even outfielders are in tune with every pitch call, which I think maybe there's a subconscious learning of like,
right,
this is how these guys attack, night in, night out. But I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm not sure what the rest of the industry is doing with that information.
Yeah, I wonder, because there is a lot out there, and there is some semblance of paralysis by analysis kind of thing. But I mean, if I try to read it when I played up the middle, like if I see a guy going breaking ball to a left-hander, I'm shaded towards the 3-4 hole a little bit, because he's probably going to be a little bit early on it. Would you have liked that, playing first base, knowing what was coming a little bit more?
I liked it with lefties. I just used to have the second baseman like whistle or something, let me know if there's off speed. Just because like I mean, you remember some of the names like Rock
Yep.
Shoulders and those guys.
Oh my
He didn't,
God.
he didn't want to be. He didn't want a man on first or Keon Barnum with a man on first. He didn't want to be holding anybody on then.
Rock Shoulders hit a ball over the football field at Freedom, and Keon Barnum went 5 for 5 in a game, 2 ground rule doubles, 2 home runs, and the ball that hit the top of the fence and came back. We intentionally walked him 4 times the next game, and his dad was complaining. I go, big man, what do you want me to do? He went 5 for 5 in the last game. Before I let you go, man, how's USF camp out there with the kids?
It was cool, man. Driving here this morning, I was telling the boys like, man, I grew up coming here, and I've had some flashbacks pulling in early morning, but it's been fun.
Unbelievable baseball here in the Tampa Bay area. Thank you so much for your time, brother. We'll say goodbye to Kyla too, because I know she's watching, and the entire North family. Say hello to mom, dad, your wife, the kids, your sister, everybody in the family, my brother. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
You got it, buddy.